Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Homeschooling Childminding Mum. My name is Beth. I am a mum of 3 in Suffolk in the UK who I homeschool, and I also do childminding after school. I thought I'd do a little chatty vlog today. So you might notice that the second part of this video is in a different location, another car park. That's because I recorded it earlier and I felt it was a bit waffly, so I've been like I'm actually going to do that again. So this is me doing it again, pretending that it's before the second part. Basically it's a Tuesday. My mother-in-law is amazing and has come to look after the children, so I was feeling a bit overwhelmed, kind of end of like the last term and then the summer's always busy because I'm working loads anyway, and I was like, right, I've got the children off, and I don't know about you, but I find it really hard to do work that I really need to concentrate on. So like some work you can just do and you can be interrupted and that's fine, but some work you can't, and you need to like really focus, and I find it really hard to do that when the children are around, because they either like come and ask me questions all the time, or just generally distract me, or to be honest, if I'm just at home, I find it really hard to concentrate and give myself that headspace that I need. Sometimes when you're just thinking about, like homeschooling, like what am I going to do, thinking of fun ideas, I actually find that really hard to do in my own house because I get so distracted by the things that are going on around me. So I kind of need to get out of the house, get away and escape. And I think that's for me one of the hard things about homeschooling, is that like when I was working like in an office, I would, sorry, my lips are really sore. When I was working in an office, you would like go to the office, sit and do your work. Like there's no other distractions there. There's nothing else you can do. It's just kind of that. And obviously being at home now, I don't have that. And so I do struggle sometimes to find the time to be away from distractions, and do it. I even tried getting up early sometimes to do work at like 5, and then my husband started getting up at 5, and then he's lovely, but he would every now and then be like, "Are you all right?" and call me from the other room, and I'm like, I've now lost my entire train of thought because you called me and asked me a question. So I was like, I just need some time on my own. I can work really well in coffee shops, so there's that little like kind of hubbub. So this morning I spent most of my morning at Starbucks. So if you've seen my channel for a while, you know that I do lots of stuff for my church. We're a really small church just getting started, and therefore like there's only a few of us doing all the work basically, so it takes me quite a while. So this morning I was literally spent 3 hours just doing work for church, and some stuff like for the churches kind of locally. I've taken over helping with the one of the Facebook pages for one of our like churches together group, because I really want to make it all really like what's the word? Is it cohesive, the word that I use? Cohesed. Joined up. Do you know what I mean? So like everybody knows what's going on with all the churches. And so this morning I have been planning Sunday school, planning our service on Sunday, planning our service in the next few weeks, planning a Bible study that we're starting tomorrow night, just kind of all things like that. And then I've also been planning my next sermon. So I haven't actually got a sermon booked in, but basically what I do, I've been kind of preaching now just over a year at like various local churches, and essentially they'll just ring me up and be like, oh, can you come on this date? And I'll say yes or no. But what tends to happen, because I don't feel like I have loads of time to sit down and plan, I am a planner. So I need to plan. Like some people could be like, oh, I've got a date, oh, I'm preaching on Sunday, oh, I'll just do it on Saturday night. Like I am not that. If I have to do it in a rush, it will be awful. I will be stressy the whole week. Like I have to plan things. So it generally takes me about 8 hours to write a sermon so far. Hopefully I'll get it down as I do more. But what I've been doing is essentially I'll like do a sermon, and then kind of a couple of weeks later I'll feel God giving me like another sermon topic or Bible passage, and it will just be like in things that I listen to, like podcasts or YouTube videos or conversations I have or books I read. It will all kind of seem to be around the same theme, and I feel that's kind of how God speaks to me about different topics that he wants me to preach on. And I never know which church it's going to be for necessarily, and so he's given me this new topic at the moment, which I feel is about how as Christians we deal with hurt, and like hurt from other people and hurt from our parents and things like that. So I feel like that's what he's speaking to me about right now, and I just have to like write these little snippets down on my phone as I feel God speaking to me, and I take clips of books and stuff that I've seen, and then I kind of just like use this time to put it all together and make it into a sermon, and then I just pray that when the next church phones and says, can you come and preach, that God wanted that sermon for them. So that's what I'm doing today, and this is just amazing that my mother-in-law is coming once a week to look after the kids for about 5 hours, and it's just so lovely to have that time. Yes, so we're just doing this for a half term because I was like, I really need something, I just need that bit of time, and yeah, other childcare, like, so we looked at Forest School. That was crazy money for the 3 children once a week. We looked at a nanny. That's about £15 an hour, so not awful, but not great, is it? And so yeah, so Josh's mum's there, and it's just been really lovely. She's only doing it this half term, so after that I don't know what we'll do. We'll work another thing out, but it's just been really lovely to have that time just to really focus. And now I can go home today and completely like concentrate on the kids, because I'm not then just trying to fit in all this other stuff around them, or trying to like stay up late or get up early and do it. I can do it like really well with a clear head. So yes, the other thing I was going to talk about is unschooling, and that's on the next clip. So I thought I'd talk a little bit today about unschooling, because I've been talking to friends about it, and I've been like listening to podcasts about it, and often like on podcasts people are like, oh, wasn't it so funny when we first started homeschooling and we did formal sit down work, and how funny that was, because now we do unschooling and we know a better way, and it's unschooling. And I often think, gosh, we're like in years to come be like, oh, I actually should have done unschooling and not worried about the formal sit down work. For me, the only way I know that they're learning is if I can see physical progress on a piece of paper, which I guess is very school-like, and that is why we do kind of homeschool. I know lots of people like the term home educate, and apparently that's what you call it in the UK, and in like America you call it homeschool. But we essentially do, in many ways, do school at home, which I don't think personally is a negative thing. I know that there are supposedly negative things about it, like, if they didn't like the school system, then you're replicating that system at home. But in many ways I'm not, like, they can go to the toilet when they want, they're not having to wait for other children. If there is one-to-one education tailored to them. And one of the reasons that I chose to homeschool is not just so that they can do their own thing, which unschooling is, and I actually think that's really good. But one of the reasons I chose to home educate is because I think that I could give them a better education than the school system can, because it's one-to-one education, and it can also be like tailored to their interests. So yes, we are doing English, maths, sciences, all that kind of thing, but we're also doing things tailored to their interests. So for my littlest, lots of gymnastics. For my middle one, lots of drawing or things to do with Minecraft that like that he's really into. And for my eldest, it might be like lots of craft things. Like we can also do a lot of things for their interests. I personally feel like to get to the next stage that they might want to in life, they're going to need 5 GCSEs. And so that is my kind of first goal, is to get them to that. The aim is to do 2 a year once they hit high school. So that's what my eldest is doing. She's now like year 8. And as you know, I've said before that that's what we're doing with her, because I just kind of want that done and out the way, because that's the only way I know forward. However, I've been talking to other people and like, you know, friends of friends, and they've been like, oh, I've got loads of you know, I've got like 7 kids. They're all actually now adults. They never did any formal qualifications. They have all got fine jobs. Like, they are absolutely fine. And I think that is amazing. And my concern is that I'm going to get to when, you know, they're all in their 20s and I'm going to be like, I didn't need to do that. We could have done other things, because it would be really nice just to, in a way, not do any of that formal sit down work and just go with their interests, I guess. But yeah, it's a real hard one, isn't it? Because I really like structure. I like routine. And for me, being like, this is the subject we're doing now, even if it's a really hands-on activity, it's like, this is the subject, this is the learning outcome, and let's do it. You know, that makes sense to me. But I guess for many other people, if life is a bit more kind of free flowing, then the unschooling would work really well. I know lots of, like, actually most homeschoolers that I know do the unschooling thing, and often children do ask to do more like formal work. They're like, oh, can you give me a page of maths, please? And I think that's lovely, because it comes from them. My concern would be that without a routine, it might be quite hard to, like, if I was planning something else with my day and then my child wanted to learn something different, would that be very frustrating? Because I'm like, well, I've planned to do something else now. Or I think with unschooling, it's meant to be like, you know, if your child's really interested in Brazil, for example, you would then be like, right, let's go and get loads of stuff to do with Brazil. But what if you then got it and like ordered some resources, say, and they took a couple of days to arrive, and then you got them and then they were like, oh no, I'm not interested in Brazil anymore, I'm interested in Argentina, I don't know, some other random thing, could be anything, Lego. Like, what are you meant to do then? Just be like, oh, I've just wasted all this money on these resources, I've planned this whole thing. I don't know, I just find it fascinating. And the more I'm getting into the homeschooling kind of lifestyle, like, you know, we're 2 years in now, the more I'm actually really seeing how homeschooling could work, unschooling, sorry, could work. And the more I'm kind of spending a bit more time at home rather than being out all the time, and seeing like their interests, I think that's really exciting. But like I see with my little one, like her interest at the moment is really gymnastics. Like, could we fill days and days and days with gymnastics? You know, what else could she learn from gymnastics? She could get really good at gymnastics. And do you know what? She could then become like an Olympian gymnast. And essentially, did she ever need to know anything else? But will she then one day be like, yeah, I know gymnastics, but I don't know how to do my times tables? And actually that would be really helpful. I don't know, it's really hard to know, isn't it? Like, what's the right thing to do? Yeah, if you unschool, let me know what you like. Or if you do like more formal work like me, let me know what you like about it, because I think that actually both ways are really nice. I love the structure that we have. But I realise that a lot of it might be for me, so that I know that they're progressing. Like, I got the home ed report thing through for my lit list yesterday, and it's just because it's the first one, it's like, what do you plan to do, which is easier really than the other ones, which say how have they progressed. But I was like, it was just so easy for me to write, because I wrote it literally in like 10 minutes, because it was just like bam bam bam, because we do the formal English, maths, computing, science, music, etc. It was just so easy. But then I was like, oh, this is what they want. This is what they want on the form. So it's like, should this not be so easy? Should I be doing it differently? Because obviously I know that if you unschool, it's actually really hard to write those forms, because your work doesn't fit neatly and your learning doesn't fit neatly into those boxes. And So in a way I felt a little bit bad that mine did fit so easily. But do you know what? As parents, we all just try our best, don't we? And they're going to grow up, and I will have done something wrong, and I can't negate doing anything wrong. You know, I can't do everything right. But you know, we try. Thanks for listening, guys. If you've got this far, you've done very well. See you again soon. Bye.